cat just meowed. Hello, cat. What are you up to? Oh, you having a lay down? Oh, you're gonna have a lay down. Okay. I think I started a bit late. Speedrun mods. When this inevitably PBs, retime this run. Tell me how much time I wasted. I also fucking was not skipping the dialogue. Right, you wanna know the terrible design decision that this game does? The skip dialogue button is not the go button, and that is like just bad game design. Can I get the cat on screen? He's like really low now. Ah, fuck it. You can just stare at my boobs for a while. Can I like... There we go. Like, it should just be factual game design, that the skip dialogue button is just whatever button you're mostly pressing. Right? So like in a speedrunning game, in a racing game, you are primarily pressing the accelerate button. Therefore, skip dialogue should be the accelerate button. And like in a platformer, the skip dialogue button should be the jump button, because the jump button is the thing that makes the game go forward. So it's how you get through things. And like the fact that CTR just maps it to like triangle. Or because I'm on an emulator, it's the top button on there. Yeah, fuck. It's the top button on the 360 controller. I'm just like, fam, that's not good. Yeah, Cat is being cool. He's just doing a little vibe. No, the game is perfect because it has horrible issues. I was saying this on a stream when we were playing Minecraft not too long ago, that like, a perfect game with no issues would be very boring and no one would like it. Oh, fuck. Like, part of the reason that like the Pokemon games sell so well is that the Pokemon games are all like a little bit bad. Like, they all have a little bit of an issue with them that just, like, makes them not fun. And that's, like, why we love them. We can fucking bullshit. Boop. Damn, on my PB, I did not time out that first loading screen, and we barely saved any time. What? I should also take this opportunity to, like, move chat. Like, closer. So I can read chat and play the game. Congratulations. A game issue, Fivehead. Oh, fam, While I'm telling this story, I have a quick question for chat. The new Legend of Zelda game that was announced at the Direct. What is the first word in the title of, like... What is the first word in the game's title? There's like, it's blank of the kingdom. What is that word? Because I've seen people really disagree. Oh, very funny. The Legend of Zelda. Yeah, that word. How are you... What word are you saying there? You're going tears. Not shred. Exactly. I have seen people really disagree. I don't know if there's an official pronunciation guide anywhere. I've seen people pretty split on if it's tears or tears. Because I think both of them actually scan properly. Oh, if I did not hit that mushroom, that would have been so good. Both of them scan, and both of them work quite well as, like, titles. I am like, I've been curious because I immediately read it as tears, and was like, that's why it wasn't aired in the UK, because, you know, out of respect for Her Majesty the Queen, would it scan weirdly to have a big promotion end on the phrase "Tears of the Kingdom"? Like, I think that would be unbelievably hilarious, and they should have done it. But I could absolutely imagine the oversensitive ass fucking marketing departments this country has being like, you can't do that. That would be disrespectful to old crony. Like, 100% believe that it is because it was Tears of the Kingdom. They did not want that. They did not want to deal with that. And if so, incredibly based. The new Fire Emblem looks fine. It's kind of... It seems to have gone very cheesy. Like, it seems to have just really be playing into the cheesy nonsense, and it's like... it's not really what I want from Fire Emblem, but I get it. Visually, I think it looks amazing. Visually, it's really taken what Genshin Impact did and, like, ran with it, in terms of that, like, very clean, very stylized sort of mythic fantasy look. I think it looks, like, so good. Especially since Three Houses. It was a good game, but it didn't look great. So I could appreciate it. The main character design hurts my brain. I really like Byleth, and I really like Shares. So I'm not saying this as one of those people who thinks that protagonist design has been going downhill. The new protag doesn't look great. It kind of hurts the eyes. But also it seems to be like playing into like heroes. No, Byleth's tights were incredible. You get out of here with our bullshit. We respect Byleth's trigonometric PhD thesis tights. The geometric assault on the sensors that she had on her thighs. Those are pog. Almost solely because of the amount of porn I've seen where she has a matching bra. It's like, hell yeah, I'd wear that shit. Yeah, I like Byleth, and I really like Shez's design. I think Shez is like a very clever, like very readable but very stylish look. And yeah, I do not like the new guy. I haven't even seen the female version. Presumably there is one because Fire Emblem games are good about that. And I was like, I don't mind Fire Emblem Heroes. Fire Emblem Heroes is like pretty fun, but it seems odd that it is actually going to affect like the main canon in a way where it's like, this does weird kind of fucky things to the lore of the series. Well, like, you know, one of the most consistent complaints with the last, like, sort of 4 or 5 Fire Emblem games was that their tone was kind of all over the place. And that was definitely true of Three Houses. So I think, yeah, just settling on, like, we're going to have a big, goofy, cheesy tone for this game, I think might be a smart move. I'm still going to play it. I'm still going to play, like, 9 million hours of it. But I'm prepping myself for, like... I'm prepping myself for a game where I play like, yeah, it wasn't as good as the last one, but it was still good. I'm glad that the Pikmin people were happy. Pikmin fans were freaking ecstatic. Oh shit, did I accidentally hit a button when we weren't comparing to PB? Pikmin fans were freaking rolling in it. How was that a gold split but lost time? I guess it's comparing to the last run I did that died. That makes sense.
You can get a hang time.
Oh yeah, the freaking... the people who go like, remember Fire Emblem wasn't anime chess? Like, yeah, I remember when Fire Emblem wasn't good. Fire Emblem was a banger when it became anime chess. Original Fire Emblem, sure, they're great fun. If you're into that tactical shit, just go for it. Fire Emblem Awakening. Fire Emblem Awakening made it horny. That's why it's great. Then, Fire Emblem Fates went a bit too horny, and it went specifically horny in the direction of all your half-sisters, which was really weird. So we don't let Corrin off the hook for that one. True, we say Fire Emblem wasn't horny. Fucking Lyn. Oh shit, that was a big jump. Oh, let's go. So you can hit that with 0. Good to know. I think you basically need to, like, perfectly land the boost. Yeah, Fire Emblem Fates got a little bit... Fire Emblem Fates really makes you ask some deep philosophical questions. Like, is it more ethical to fuck people you're related to but didn't grow up with? Or people you were raised as siblings but are not blood related to? Fire Emblem Fates asking the deep shit. That's gonna sound like such a demented comment to people who don't know what happens in Fates. And meanwhile, people who have played Fates will be like, yeah, that's how Fates goes. Meanwhile, the actual based people in Fates just date Camilla. No, actually, I forget her fucking name. The based people date, like, the fucking 65-year-old who fucking randomly rocks up 2/3 of the way through the game riding a fucking wyvern. And it's like, hey, y'all idiots. Y'all losing. Want me to win this fight for you? She's the queen. And you're not related to her, which is a big plus in fucking Fates. Yeah, Fate... Shame, because mechanically, Fates is a fantastic game. Like, that is Fire Emblem at its best in terms of gameplay. And there's so much sibling fucking in it. And I get it. They're royals. They marry their cousins. That's kind of how being a royal family works. Topical. Well, I'd rather not be forced to make that choice. So the TLDR is that there's the White Clan and the Black Clan. And this already sounds very sus, but follow me on this. We'll make it through the end of this. There's a clan that dressed in all white and a clan that dressed in all black. And I forget which order this is. I think Corrin is biologically related to the Black Clan. No. Biologically related to the White Clan. But as a baby was taken away from them and was raised by the black dressed clan. So you have all, like, the sibling bonding with all the dressed with black clan members. But you are, like, biologically related to the white clan members. God, this sounds so... Why did I choose this wording? Sounds so weird. And, like, they're all romanceable. And it's like, well, I would like to not date any of these people. Yeah, red and purple is probably better. Because you remember them by... Remember them by Sakura and... Camilla. Camilla is incredibly based. She has the freaking boob strap. We all stand Camilla. Even though she's, like, has mommy energy, but, like, I'm down with that. At least she is not actually my mom. Yeah, I could stop digging this hole, but I'm kind of enjoying it. Because the people who have played Fates are just like, well, she's not wrong. This is pretty much how Fates goes. And then there's like, this is before you even bring up the fucking time paradox babies. Holy moly, the fucking... Yeah, you have babies and then you just put them in like a time portal paradox dimension for like 7 years and they all have like horrible resentment issues because, you know, instead of raising them, you threw them in like a time paradox dimension. But it's okay because in doing that, they became really good fighters, so you can send them off to your army to die. God, Fates was such a bad game. Fates was so bad. But mechanically, it was a banger. In fact, no, fucking forget them all. The real thing to do is just to date the merchant Anna. She's the real queen. I'll date all the Annas. I was so disappointed when they added Anna to 3 Houses as a playable character, and you couldn't marry her. That was all I wanted to do. They also added Anna to Three Houses, and she was really bad.
You will find
Like, she was like the first DLC character, I'm pretty sure. She was a really bad unit. It's like, why would you ever choose to dispatch Anna unless you just like her? Which, to be fair, I do. Is Anna playable in Three Hopes? I did not play enough of Three Hopes to unlock her. No. Okay. It's this one. This one. I was debating which one it was for a second. Then why would I bother? I played enough of Three Hopes to know I did not enjoy the gameplay, and now I've watched all the cutscenes, and now I've had basically the experience. Would there be Three Hopes DLC? Three Hopes already included all the Three Houses DLC because it had like Happy and Coco and the other two that no one cares about. Best support. I don't know if it's... Holy shit, we got 3 bombs instantly. That is like the best RNG roll on this map. Hell yeah. And you know the run's going well because my nose is suddenly incredibly itchy. I wasn't sure if it's the best, but certainly, like, you mentioned supports. I have not actually watched all the supports, to be fair. I watched all the story shit. The one that immediately jumps out to me is Monica and Hubert. I really liked Monica and Hubert. I liked Monica in general. She was a really good character. I really liked Shez and Holst, although I could not deal with Holst. I could not deal with watching anything he did, because it's just ProZD, and I love ProZD. Sungwon is like a fantastic voice actor. I don't know why he's doing the Archibald voice. Like, Sungwon is like an insanely talented VA when he's like really hitting it, but Sungwon just like defaulting to Archibald, where he was like, I can't listen to this man speak. Like, I played what little bit I played. It was of the Crimson Rose, the Black Eagle's house, because they were my first playthrough of Three Houses. I just had to. And in that house, you're first introduced to Holst. He's like off screen, so like he's introduced as like this mythic warrior who you don't get to see at first. You just hear his voice as he's at the door, but you just hear him, and I'm just like, that's fucking Archibald from the Sungwon skits. Like, is he about to say that his enemies got the point? And it just like, I just couldn't. I was like, oh, the brain got fried. But yeah, Holst and Shez's interactions were really... All the Shez ones. Shez was such a good character.
you win a trophy.
Like, I actually think it's very just quite interesting because
Go faster.
as much as I do like Byleth is like a very blank slate. Just like narratively, and the fact they don't have a voice doesn't help. So like I sort of retroactively thought that like Robin and Corrin were like that, but no, Robin and Corrin were actually like very vibrant characters. And yeah, Shez was as well, and it kind of reminded me like, oh yeah, these pro tags actually did have like, they weren't just player surrogates. Like, these characters did have a little bit going on. Like, I really like Robin. Robin's a really good character in Awakening. Like, this absolute dork who just, like, doesn't quite register how people work. But not in that way that, like, sometimes reads as, like, a slightly weird portrayal of neurodivergence. Robin's just kind of dumb. I really like... And Crom also had, like, 3 brain cells. Which is why Robin and Crom is one of the only ever acceptable MF ships. Because, like, between them, they have, like, 4 brain cells. Which is enough where, like, they got some shit going compared to, like, the really stupid people. But, like, they ain't got a ton going on. Yeah, Crom is just the himbo. He's so swole. We love him. Crom is the kind... Crom is not a Milady tips Fedora kind. But Crom is definitely the person who sees people do that, doesn't register the subtext, and just thinks it's like, oh, cool, fedoras. I'm going to call people Milady because it's fun and quirky. And someone has to go to him and be like, don't do that. Don't do that, Crom. That's a bad idea. Boom, we're way ahead now. Oh, we got Papu and Dingo. Shit, we got time. Respect Wham and Juice. Damn, that was an old meme. I haven't thought of respecting women juice in a while.
Congratulations. You win a trophy.
Was that like a intended to be like a diss?
To get a turbo boost.
With how internet discourse generally is, it would not surprise me if like respecting women juice was actually invented by people trying to like insult someone, and but it just like became a thing for just like, drink that respect women juice. Okay, I'm gonna have one go at the Giga Chad shortcut on this map. I think I'll do it on the first lap, so I have more time to deal with the fallout if I fuck it up. I wanna have a crack at like... Oh, wait, no, is the shortcut actually... Does the shortcut work on the original, or is that just in the remake? I haven't got long to figure it out. I was on top of it! I literally, my wheels were above the line. Okay, let's have like one crack at it. Oh, I think that is almost certainly possible. If I like hit it. If I hit it just right. Also, it put me on just the other side anyway. So it isn't actually like that much time loss if I fuck it up. Ah, fuck. Ah, fuck. Ah, fuck. Okay. Got it. Good, good. Oh, no. Fuck. Oh, yeah. Also, I just realized I had 0 Wumpa Fruit attempting both of those. If you've got, like, maxed out, that's got to be doable. I don't think I'm going to attempt it a third time, though. I hear... I just realized Tiny isn't catching up with me. Tiny has lost the spirit of Hypno Shark. Oh shit, I should have saved that for this. Fucking hate that jump. Cortex is not based. Cortex is British, therefore is not based. Nothing is based in the UK. Yeah, all that that was a terrible Papu pyramid, and we saved nearly like upwards of a quarter of a minute. Because my Papu's pyramid was some garbage on PB.
Congratulations. You win a trophy.
Virgin Tiny versus Chad Cortex. No, the real Chads used the... No, I drove into the thing. God damn it. Because, like, the characters with, like, no redeeming qualities are Polar and Purah. Those are the two, like, if you want to just play as a bad character. The true, like, 5 heads of the world are using Polar and Purah when speedrunning. Shame, because as a kid, I picked Purah. Because Purah's a cute little cat. Why would I not pick the cat? She's just not good. Exactly. Purah's a cat. I want to be a cat girl. I'll pick the cat girl. I presume her as a girl. She is in my heart. Hey, look, Tiny's in first again. Nope. Mod the game with Claudio. Exactly. And give him Penguin stats. I'm actually playing on a US emulated copy because I just could not get a European copy to work in the emulator. Which means Penguin does actually have just like broken ass stats. And I think for like individual race, even though Penguin is a cheat character, I do think he is allowed. Penguin Yay 1. There we go. Shout outs to the Penguin Yay 1 enjoyers. Gotta rank all the characters. Okay, so Coco is number 1. Coco is the queen. We love her. We stan. Are we including like the boss characters? Because then it might actually get a little complicated. Because then you might have to include like entropy and shit. Well, I was so convinced as a kid that his name was Entropy. Because I didn't know what the word entropy was. And I was like, why is he just called Entropy? He must be Entropy and I'm just reading it wrong. Tier list CTR characters by how they react to you having pronouns in bio. Cortex would absolutely... Cortex is an absolute fucking, like... thinks that pronouns in bio is an insult. I'm sorry, Cortex, but he absolutely is, like, a Ben Shapiro, like, facts and logic kind of guy. Cat on tummy again. Why did I stop talking during Papu's dialogue? This is the one point where I would love to be talking over the game. Rue. Yeah, that's just his tier. Yeah, the tier list is just what noise they make. Like, the ones that talk, like, just be like, I respect and appreciate you. Cortex calls you a slur, and then everyone else just makes animal noises. True. Is Court Summers? I say that the... Oh, fucking... Thank you, game. Incredibly based. The best... The only acceptable fictional men are the kinds who would beat me up, but then, like, stop beating me up if someone had misgendered me because they were like, no, oh, fuck. Like, they'd beat me up, but then if someone misgendered me, they'd, like, stop beating me up and be like, yo, I'm gonna fuck up that guy for disrespecting you. And then when they're done beating up the person who misgendered me, then they go back to beating me up. That is the most based kind of character on the planet. And are we saying Cortex would have that energy? Because, like, I could see, like... That tends to be, like, the sort of respectable baddies who have that energy. Which Cortex at least thinks of himself as one of those. Whereas someone like Entropy would just call you a slur. Like, even if you are not trans and you are just having your pronouns in bio as, like, a supportive thing because it's practical and, like, good for people, Entropy would still just start calling you slurs if you had pronouns in bio. God, I'm doing a fucking dreadful job at this. Holy shit. Yeah, Crash does not comprehend pronouns, and that's why we love him. God, I hate this map as Coco. Why are the bosses on, like, the maps which Coco is bad at? Yes, triple missiles, thank God. I'm not attempting it. I need to not fail. So I think Cortex would initially be hostile. Here's what I think Cortex would do. He would initially be a little bit hostile because like of how he is in his background. But then he would see people like Entropy like actually being like transphobic and awful, and then he'd be like, no, I'm better than these people, I'm going to be supportive, and then he goes through this big beautiful character arc and becomes supportive and then kills you and then takes over the world. That's what Cortex does.
Here is key to help. Oxide much bigger problem for you. Him not as big, but him
This way, this way. That's a wall bonk for RNG as established. I remember I was like 20 years old when I realized that Engine was him. I legitimately thought Engine was female my whole life. I know, it wasn't until like CTR remastered. My brother played so much of Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, an insane amount of it. He was like laddering every week on the online tournaments. I just mentioned Engine and used her once. My brother was like, you know Engine's a guy, right? Like, oh shit, we stand. I choose to think it's because Engine is trans mask. Engine does have big trans mask energy. Engine got that T-boy drip. Holy shit. Purra, what are you doing? That was some speed. No. Land on the boost panel. Wow. Did you see that shit? I was about to finish on the boost panel and get all my speed back. Then Polar was like, fuck you. Take that, Polar. I was about to say that's what you get for being a bear. And I was like, and then another part of my brain was like, Polar's not a bear, you idiot. It's Polar Bear. And I just sat there while I sat in my own idiocy. He's not a bear, he's a polar bear. Three-head moment. Remember, folks, if you ever see a bear in the wild, if it's brown, lie down. If it's black, fight back. And if it's white, it's about to be red with your blood, because you're screwed. Because brown bears won't be interested in you if they think you're dead, because they like live meat and will just sniff you and be like, I ain't dealing with this shit. A black bear is all show and will just, if you look like you're putting up a fight, they're like, I'm not dealing with this, it's too much energy, and they'll leave you alone. And polar bears are like, you're dead. You're within 5 miles of me. You made a big mistake, fam.
Congratulations.
And if you do anything to it, then 1,000 laws will get in the way and be like, you killed a polar bear? Well, congratulations, you're now going to prison forever. And losing, like, all your licenses ever. Cat. I really should play with my cat. I've been at work all day, and then I took a nap, and then I live streamed, so... If this run dies or if it PBs, I will finish the stream and play with Cat. Or I will play with Cat at the end of the stream, which is probably what chat would want me to do. I find playing with Cat on stream weird. I find it difficult. Because Claudio is like a super passive play. Like, he really likes to just like stare at a toy for a while and not do much and just like... I don't know. I weirdly feel like... I weirdly feel like he's not entertaining enough to play with on stream. It sounds very dumb. Come on, come on, come on. Make the corner. I saw that coming. I saw that on the track and was like, I don't think I'm smart enough to time this so I don't get squashed by it. He's just like at my feet, just looking up at me. I'm scared he's going to start licking my toe and distract me. Claudio is totally a foot fetish man. I don't have any socks or slippers on right now. He has licked my feet passively just to get my attention multiple times. So I got some sensitive little feeties, and he knows that fact. Claudio, hello, hello. Oh, he just tried to bite my hand. I just realized I was supposed to take some pills like 2.5 hours ago. Because I'm supposed to take pills at 9 p.m. And I did not do that. I did not take pills. So they're not normie pills, they're girl pills. I need to take my girl pills. Fucking get in the thing. What? I'm driving through it. You can see me drive through it. That was very dumb. I was driving directly through that portal animation on like 2 of 3 of those attempts. He keeps threatening to bite me when I scratch him. It's almost like he doesn't like me but scratching him. Oh, good start. I gotta take my girl pills, and then tomorrow night I have to shove a girl pill up my butt. This is the not glamorous side of DIY HRT, is that sometimes the only shit that works is the suppository. And you just gotta come to terms with that fact. Thankfully, that is only a weekly pill, but that... I have set it to Wednesdays, if I remember. Oh, it's fucking worth it. It helps me grow tits. Oh, fuck off. It is specifically the progesterone which is taken rectally, and that is the shit that actually causes you to grow tits. So it is literally like any young trans ladies or estrogen consumers, the people who want the booba, they have to weigh up like, is shoving a small pill up my butt once a week worth it? And if the answer is yes, then you should start. Although I put the cheat code in and paid a doctor to shove some silicone up my chest, so... I did the speedrun strat. I sped ran my way to double D cups. Although they are still like, even though I've had the implants, they do still like grow. So like, oh fuck, those seals have been just consistently on the cycle where I can't get the line up. Yeah, any percent double D. No, it would be double D percent, right? You finish the speedrun once achieving double D. And some people just get bad RNG rolls. Where I was like, nah mate, I'm using the breast expansion DLC. It's a bit overpriced, but it's worth. Yeah, they're sealing my PB as having a crap mid-game. Don't worry, it's all just time save when we inevitably PB and then do another run. Come on, I want to get this shortcut once in the run. So hi speedrun mods. I gotta say that sometimes, 'cause I'm sure this run will PB. Hope you're enjoying this talk about shoving pills up my butt. God damn it. Speedrun mods, ignore that. I totally made that jump. Hi mods! How you doing? I expect you to comment on my PB. I expect you to comment using speedrun.com's awful comment feature and tell me how your day's been. Give me a rating out of 10, speedrun. Crash Team Racing speedrun board moderators. Comment below. How was your day out of 10? Stan Grace, Stan Atelier Riser, Stan Claudio, the best cat.
You win a trophy.
Hope you enjoyed me throwing my runs at multiple point to pet the cat. Ah, just the last run didn't PB, which means we didn't get all the cute farm talk. We didn't get all my terrible Nintendo Direct opinions in the PB. Yeah, I'm just building suspense in case I PB or not. The mods might not see this. The Minecraft, the Spellbound Cave speedrun I did a joke where I said hi mods towards the end, and a mod did actually comment on SRC with like a time span saying like, hello! Like, yeah, based mods. If I remember, I had a kind of bad tiny arena on my PB. So hopefully I can get some time save back. No, fuck off. I don't like PBs that look like this, though. Like, my current Simpsons Hit and... One of my big problems with Simpsons Hit and Run right now is that I got that PB last week where I PB'd by like 10 seconds. And the problem with that is that the early game in that run is phenomenally good. I'm like 2 minutes ahead by the time we enter Apu in that PB. So all future runs that compare to it feel awful because I'm just behind for like the first hour. And like all my big time saves are like right at the end. So it's like a huge time investment to see if a run is like worth continuing. It's like, God, I just like the thought of doing another Simpsons Hit and Run compared to that. It's like, God, I'm not dealing with that. Also, this has also been a shockingly bad first lap of Tiny Arena. True. Why? That's like the 4th missile we've had in a lap and a quarter. Embrace Cash Banuka. Tiny Arena is just like way too long. If I'm, like, I like the aesthetic. Actually, no. I kind of like the aesthetic in theory. And also just the floor is like way too bumpy. Yeah, I think I'm just thinking of Wario Stadium. That's a good map. Okay, so mechanically CTR is like way better than Mario Kart. I think we can all agree on that. Like, just the gameplay in CTR is some god shit. Who got the better track design, though? Like, Mario Kart does have the advantage of just having way more, because there's been, like, 50 of those games of similar quality. Whereas there's been, like, 3 There's been like 3 Crash racing games and 2 of them are bad. Oh, playing from far cam feels very weird, but I didn't realize there was a camera change button. I just hit it by accident and had to pause to be like, why does everything look different? Oh, I think I'm going to stick with far cam. This is good. Far cam is actually a lot better because, and this is going to sound quite dumb, it's actually encouraging me to like look at the horizon and not just my character. Like, you become good. I feel like there's a lot of games with like a competitive element where one of the things you really need to get good at is looking at what you should be looking at rather than just looking at yourself. And just kind of having faith in your like proprioception to just follow where you are. Like your peripheral vision and your just general game feel. Because I really figured that out with fighting games specifically. Once I got... Because I used to play fighting games just looking at myself and making sure I knew where I was. And then occasionally... Okay, that's just black screen. Only occasionally glancing to see where my opponent is so I knew where to aim. Whereas once I started, like, looking at my opponent the whole game, glancing back at myself, and, like, just trusting myself to keep tabs on where I am, I got way better at fighting games in general. And yeah, driving games, like focusing on like the track and not yourself is good shit. I guess that's why a lot of people swear by first person. Because first person in driving games like removes that element of the equation. I feel like CTR has some iconic themes for maps, but the maps themselves, like this one, Komodo Mines. This one like really sticks out in my head. Same with like Hot Air Skyway, as much as that is a dreadfully unfun map. That shit is like iconic in my brain. And like Coco Park as well. Coco Park is one I really remembered. I guess just the boss fight maps, and then a couple extras like Sewer Speedway and Coco Park. But yeah, and then there's stuff like Crash Cove, which is kind of like blends into the background. Speaking of Komodo, I remember as a kid looking at the little sprite of Komodo Joe and just thinking it was Squidward tentacles, but like the wrong color. I was like, why is Squidward in this game? He got that big old Squidward dick nose. Hey. Yeah, I guess CTR maps have good vibes, whereas the maps themselves, like Oxide Station, the vibe on that is incredible. And then you actually play it and you realize it's like 15 years long, and a lot of it is just like windy corridors. And then like the zero grav section kind of starts earlier than you think it does. So you don't think you're in space yet, and you do a small hop and you go flying. You're like, why am I in the air here? I didn't close Discord. Shows how popular I am. I've been streaming for nearly 2 hours and no one's messaged me. Oh goody, it's a ping in the ephemeral Discord.
You're not so slow after all.
That I had, yeah.
To me you did. Here's a key for the win. Still.
Yeah, it's also talking about a known bug in ephemeral that I have.
We're going to lose our planet, and it will
I've read what their message is, and I know why they did what they did, but what they did was dumb. And I totally get it. The game, like, shouldn't have caused... It should not have softlocked there, but it did because of something I did. But they also kind of fed into it. I stopped with Inclement Emerald because it kind of just has the issue that all, like... Of all the ROM hacks I played like it, so like Radical Red or Unbound, all the ones that have like all of the 900 Pokemon and all the mechanics, and it's just like, this is like so unartfully made. Like this feels like it exists for like, it almost feels like it exists for like YouTube thumbnails of like Whoa, all 900 Pokemon? Incredible. I was like, yeah, this is why even in like Gen 7, where all the Pokemon were in the game, there's a reason you can't catch them all in the game. Because it just hurts. And there's so much that could be happening at any one point. Especially with Inclement Emerald does that thing I really don't like, which is that they buff Pokemon so that everything is as strong as itself. So like every Pokemon just feels generic. Like this is a kind of hot take. So many people when I made Ephemerald were like, oh, you should have buffed Mightyena, you should have buffed Linoon, you should have buffed Raticate. I was like, no, because then that doesn't make Raticate better. That makes everything that Raticate competes with worse. Or makes them all less interesting. There is inherently something interesting to the fact that some Pokemon are bad. And yeah, how do you balance that shit? There's like... every single route has like 700 potential encounters on it. It just like hurts the brain. And then there's like... and then you get the freaking... the ones that also try to like... include like Mega Evolution and Z moves and Dynamax. There's a reason that the games don't let you do this. Z moves were bad enough. Z moves with Mega Evolution were awful. Z moves with Mega Evolution and Dynamax. Woo! Like the way that Smogon did it, where you could Dynamax or Mega Evolve, was still awful. Because Dynamax was so much better. Let alone, I saw one ROM hack that lets you Dynamax a Mega Evolved Pokemon. It was like, hello, my name is Dynamaxed Mega Scizor. You are about to lose. Oops, you Dynamaxed a Mega Alakazam. Uh-oh. Like, when I made Ephemerald, I did still try to give bad Pokemon, like, some source. I tried to make it so every bad Pokemon had, like, one thing it could do. Like, an example is the Ariados. Ariados is a bad Pokemon. In Ephemerald, it's a pure ground type. It is the only Pokemon that learns the combination of Belly Drum and Stab Earthquake. That is the thing that Ariados can do in Ephemerald. So if you want to use it, you have a strategy that is unique to it. I think that's a much better way of balancing bad Pokemon in a ROM hack. And it's something that a lot of hack creators don't acknowledge. Like, you can do interesting things with bad stats. Well, like, Volbeat. Volbeat's bad, but Volbeat is the only speed boosting baton passer. So if you want speed boost baton pass, you're using Volbeat.
You win a trophy.
Yeah, just give him a tiny bit, give him a little bit of spice. Oh, fucking... Once again, I drove through the portal. Yeah, also, people don't... This was the thing that bugged me and was one of the many reasons that, like, the Sword and Shield hate train was so, like, fueled by its own hate. They said that part of the reason that they started cutting Pokemon was for balancing reasons. And people blatantly ignored that they meant, like, dex balancing, as in, like, making sure, like, mechanically there was an even amount of Pokemon. Like, there was a certain amount of Dark types, there was a certain amount of Psychic types, a certain amount of Electric. People ignore the fact that that's what they meant. And people will be like, oh, but Dynamax is so unbalanced. And then they're like, well, no, because in VGC, the official format, Gen 8 was Pog. That is... People who played VGC nearly universally agree that Gen 8 is, like, the best VGC has ever been. Since, like, at least, like, Gen 5. And, like, the Isle of Armor meta, the VGC season where, like, there was Isle of Armor but Crown Tundra hadn't dropped yet, that was so fun. That meta was insanely well balanced. The threats were like, they were still good Pokemon, but they weren't like swallowing the game whole, and like it was balanced enough where like so many weird niche strategies were like totally functional. It was the only meta where Phalanx was briefly usable, therefore it was the best. I did not know you could dodge a missile like that. It still wasn't good enough to use Ice-Q, because Ice-Q is, as much as I love the little guy, Ice-Q is awful. Yeah, Gen 9, no Incineroar. And Clorf. God, I've not talked about this on stream yet. I've said this in the Ephemeral Discord a couple times. The Gen 9 Pokemon designs have been pretty good so far. Like, there's some hot bangers in there, and there's some that don't appeal to me, but I appreciate that they have an appeal. Some of the names are bad. Some of the names are bad. Who let Fido happen? Why is anyone accepting Lechonk and Smoliv? I hate both of those with a passion. Those names are awful. They're so, like, immersion breaking. That's, like, the only way I can describe it. Like, there's just something... which is weird, because I like a lot of quirky names. I think a name that has, like, a quirky sort of slang meaning are generally really good. Like, I don't dislike Ice-Q. Ice-Q is a great name. Something about Lechonk just, like, sends shivers down my spine. God, like... And, like, Clorf? Clorf is just not a good word to say. And, like, I get it. It's Claw and Cliff. I get it. It just does not roll off. I've almost all of them I hate. I like the starters. The starters have good names. Fuecoco, Quaxley, Sprigatito, great. Koraidon and Miraidon are fine. You know, I'm not the biggest fan, but they're good. And then Armarouge and Cerilege, I like both their names. Those are both good names. I'm certain that it's Armarouge. I'm not certain that it's Cerilege. It might be Cerilege, but I think it's Cerilege. Oh yeah, Satitan. I totally forgot Satitan. Satitan's fine. Yeah, you can rename them. That's why I'm like, this is not a deal breaker, but it has been so odd seeing people lose their mind for the Pokemon, and I've just been like, I see the word Fido and my fight or flight response triggers. Oh, what bounced? YOLO? Hey, let's go. So you can just YOLO that if you miss it. YOLOing it if you miss it feels like how you end up trying to hit it 6 times in a row. Actually, on my first playthrough, I tend to not. Sword and Shield was the first time where on my first playthrough I didn't nickname things. Oh, I did nickname things on my first playthrough. Because I worry if I nickname things, I don't learn what they're actually called. And it did sort of happen in Sword and Shield. I did not actually pick up the name Toxtricity for a while. Because I just had... It was called Bernadetta. Because I named them after Fire Emblem. Because of course I did. I did not pick up Toxtricity for a bit. She was just Bernadetta for me. Let's go. You need to hit that at a slightly sharper angle than I think you do. I think that's my issue. Blind Nuzlocking it. I'll be honest, one thing I am not... Considering how obnoxious the YouTube fan base was about Legends Arceus and Nuzlocking, I'm not looking forward to all the YouTube channels that are like, I did a turbo hardcore flippity blop shitlock of Pokemon Scarlet on a first playthrough, and then they spend the whole game complaining about how unnuzlockable it is, which is like, yes, well done. This game is not designed for this unofficial game mode. Well observed. I actually think Tech, as someone who does Nuzlocks in the modern incarnation, I've been milling over this thought for a while, and I don't really know what to do with it. You are probably someone who has a thought on a similar way. Isn't it weird how Nuzlocks used to be a narrative thing, and they turned into a challenge thing? Right? That's weird. Like, because I imagine most people who do like uber hardcore mono-type block Route 107 only challenges don't realize that Nuzlocking is like started as a webcomic. Like the original Nuzlocke was someone who just invented the rules and then made a webcomic of his weird playthrough. And it's called Nuzlocke. I'd actually only learned recently why it's called Nuzlocke. It was a playthrough of Ruby with the guy just invented the rule set off the top of his head. He named a Nuzleaf John Locke after the guy from Lost. Like he just named his C. John Locke, and it evolved into Nuzlocke. That's where the name comes from. It's like, yeah, the people who like it's real weird that that's become like this hardcore super gamer mode thing, and it's like, it's such a dumb name. I have not actually read the webcomic. I actually looked it up for the first time recently and was like, holy shit, this really is like an early 2000s webcomic. It's not very far above the existential adventures of 3 and 7 in art style. At least the first episode is. It died to a self-destruct. Let's go! I actually got back into webcomics recently, and I feel bad because I got recommended this one called Lore of Olympus. It's actually a webtoon, which is, I think for a while webtoon was trying to be like different from webcomics, and I think it kind of failed. People just think webtoon is a type of webcomic, but it does. Webtoons at the very least treat themselves like they're not webcomics. I got recommended a webtoon called Lore of Olympus, which Lore of Olympus is one of those things where you hear the pitch. Hey, thank you for showing up, Ditto. GN and GN. Lore of Olympus is like, imagine Gossip Girl, but instead of like preppy, rich, white people who have never had a problem in their life and like just have $1 billion to have $1 billion to their name when they're 16. Imagine that, but instead of them, it's like the gods of Olympus. So like Hades, instead of being the underworld, is like the big city which never sleeps. Like people like Zeus and Poseidon and Artemis and Aphrodite are all just like preppy New York yuppies who just like get into fucking Gossip Girl level like romance and drama triangles and all that bullshit. It's like, okay, I'm sold. This is the best comic ever. And the art style is so weird. It's like super modern and like it's very strange. And I started reading that recently and was like, yeah, it's really good. Well, I'm not sure if it's good. I really like it. Let's go with that. Also, it is like, if you've never seen a webtoon. So here's the thing. The reason that you can't read the existential adventures of 3 and 7 anymore was because it was hosted on a website called Smack Jeeves, which got bought by Webtoon. And Webtoon have a specific layout. Instead of like a page that is like comic sized, like the standard, you know, sheet of paper with like maybe a half dozen panels on it, webtoons are one. Each chapter is one incredibly tall panel. And when I say tall, it'll be like upwards of 100 times taller than it is wide. And the idea is they're designed to be read on your phone or on e-readers, where you just scroll down to read. And like I did actually have to read Lore of Olympus on my phone, because like you can read it on the web, but it's just so awkward to keep scrolling. Whereas if you read it by like just flicking up, it scans a lot better. But yeah, because they deleted... When Webtoon bought Smack Jeeves, they deleted every comic that did not work with that format, which included the Existential Adventures of 3 and 7. But it's an interesting way of reading it. It's definitely a way that, like, works. It works if you're designed to be working that way, and a lot of things don't. Like, there's another webtoon I really like called Clinic of Horrors, which is... You can read one page of Clinic of Horrors and you get the gist, where it's like super demented, post-dystopian, like, comedic healthcare satire. Where everything is like pastels, blues, and pinks. But it's like horrible people are going through horrible shit.
Gonna have to get past me first. I'm the speed champion here.
I should actually read a Nuzlocke comic. But yeah, the original point, after going on so many fucking tangents. Yeah, Nuzlocks used to be a narrative thing. They were about developing a narrative with Pokemon you got emotionally attached to. And like the reason you gave them names was so you could like grow them, and like you could form this narrative about how the story went. And nowadays it is just like, I gave myself 15 rare candies and exactly 158 EVs so I could one-shot Winona's Altaria using Ice Beam from Pelipper, but also I need to get Spike's chip, so I must roar in with 32 IV Skarmory first. It's like, when did this happen? Weren't we just like laughing about a Nuzleaf that looked like John Locke? Wasn't that where this started? And I'm like, yeah, it's so... And I don't think it is because of P-Child TV Yan, the best Nuzlocker in the world, insert his preamble here. I definitely think he was the first person to really ride that wave, so kind of became the poster child for it. It might have literally been because of him. He definitely, like, codified what new Nuzlocks look like, and like what they are now. I mean, he came up with the term hardcore Nuzlocke and the new rule set that even the casual players have started using.
Watch your back.
But yeah, he was sort of the guy who like codified it a bit and was like, yeah, it was really odd. Like, I was watching, it was actually, I realized this when I was watching a P-Chow video. Because P-Chow did a reaction to Peanut Butter Gamer's old Nuzlocke. And then PBG did a reaction to P-Chow's reaction. And it was PBG who made this point, basically saying, like, the reason that he did so much of what he did and the reason he followed the rules that he did was to try and build a YouTube story. And he wanted to build something that was a good, compelling narrative. And was like, yeah, that is what Nuzlocks used to be. That is, in fact, what they used to exist for back when PBG did this. And then that's not what Nuzlocks are anymore. Huh. I was like, that was an incredibly, like, well-observed point from the guy who I think of him as the guy who did the Ghost Ride the Whip song. I was like, I guess I never doubted that PBG was a smart person. He's just... I'm sure he'd admit that the character he plays is not a smart person. I'm not going for that shortcut a third time, because this race is kind of sweaty. Oh, fuck, no! Oh, shit. Oh, did I just kill this run? Oh, I think I just... Oh, fuck off. I can still do this with a lucky item and some good driving. If you could hit that TNT crate. No. Oh, I should not have thrown that as early as I did. He was still in the air. Never punished, baby! Holy shit, that was so bad on PB. I didn't realize it was that bad, wow. PBG is totally doing fine. All that lot. From that era of like normal boots and hidden blocks, unless they did something objectively problematic, they're doing fine. And even if they did something problematic, they're still probably doing fine because YouTube doesn't actually care about that shit. If I'm 217 ahead, Amber's time was 1:15:20 something. If I match PB, I still won't beat Amber, but I probably will get a 1:15 if I match PB. I don't really remember how my Oxide was on PB though. Yeah, he cheats. I got completely debated by this. Wait for it. There he goes. I got legitimately done in by that. Oh, fuck. It's so good. It is like, oh, we're doing this, are we, bro? Oh, that's a very fucking good drop. I can drive very aggressively now. Okay, that did not last as long as I hoped. Just don't drop a nitro and I'll get ahead of you in 0G. Top 10 speedrunners who got caught cheating. Okay, just gotta stay ahead of him, and this is fine. Just gotta stay ahead of him. Just stay ahead, forehead. Just win the race. Okay, that's not good. That is literally the opposite of good. That is the opposite of what I wanted to do. God, he throws so much shit at you. What? How was I supposed to avoid that? Honestly, the play might be to let the rubber banding slow him down so I can get close to him during 0G. Oh, fuck. Ah, I hate this move. Okay. Fuck off! You know what I need to do? I need to save a missile for that shit. Ah. Okay, I might actually not win this race. Oh, come on. You know what the biggest bullshit thing about this game is? And this is absolutely going to be me salt complaining right now. The most bullshit thing about this game is that projectiles, out of you, they fire in whichever direction you're facing. So if you're in the middle of a drift, you basically can't use a lot of weapons because they'll be pointing at the wall. The enemies, though, they fire relative to the track. So if the enemy is drifting, then they can still fire directly forward. And they can still aim at you while they're drifting, even though you cannot aim at other people while you're drifting. It's actually, like, just this really maliciously subtle bit of, like, game design that is, like, designed to be, like, make the game unfair. And it's like, it's one of those shit you would never notice that when playing this casually. Yeah, no, I'm probably going to lose this race, because I'm not ahead of him after the 0G section. Unless I get, like, a really fucking good weapon. Okay, okay. We gotta pray. Come on, come on. Hey, we got him. We got very, very lucky there. We got very, very lucky there. That was absolute. I got bailed out by luck on that final lap. Da, 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 da. Hello, cat. It's time to do the ceremonial show. Pick up the cat and point at camera. Where'd he go? He was just there. Cat. Where'd he go?